Have you ever wondered how he can hurt you and still have you clinging to his presence like he's your only heir? How he pulls away just far enough to make you question yourself, then returns just close enough to keep your heart chained to hope. This isn't love. This is control dressed up in charm. And the hardest part? It doesn't even feel like manipulation at first. It feels like chemistry, like confusion, like a bond you can't explain. But the truth is, when love turns into a cycle of hope and heartbreak, you are not being held. You are being hooked. He doesn't have to cage her if he convinces her she can't fly. That's how this works. He doesn't always need to be loud, toxic, or obviously cruel. No, his tactics are subtle. He withholds affection until you crave it. He gives you just enough to stay, never enough to feel safe. One day, he's obsessed with you. The next, he's cold and distant, making you question if you're the problem. But you're not. You were just targeted by someone who knows how to stir your feelings without ever truly choosing you. Imagine a spider weaving a beautiful web, shiny, perfect, delicate. To the outside world, it looks like art. But for the one caught inside, it's a trap. That's what this kind of connection becomes, beautiful from a distance, but slowly suffocating up close. He uses confusion like a weapon. He leaves you unsure, constantly second-guessing your worth, your place, your voice. And that is exactly how he keeps control. This is where your awakening begins, because the moment you realize this isn't love, it's a tactic, you start to break free. This is the point where you stop chasing clarity from a man who benefits from your confusion. This is the beginning of something powerful. A woman who no longer begs for validation becomes the kind of woman who makes silence her weapon and self-worth her crown. Now, beautiful soul, step forward. Because you are not just a woman in pain, you are a queen remembering who she is. And from this moment on, you no longer settle for crumbs in the name of connection. You stop falling for manipulation disguised as love. The game ends here. The reign begins now. If this message reached a tender place in your heart, if it helped you see what you couldn't see before, then show some love back. Like this video and subscribe to the channel because we are working hard with every word and every message to bring you the kind of truth that sets you free. You deserve more than confusion. You deserve clarity, power, and a love that doesn't play games. And Queen, we're here to help you reclaim all of that and more. Number 1. He gives you just enough to stay, but never enough to feel safe. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a relationship where you never quite know where you stand with him? One day, he's all in, texting first, saying he misses you, making promises. The next, he goes quiet, distant, cold. You start asking yourself, did I do something wrong? You blame your emotions, you question your value, but here's the harsh truth. He gives you just enough to stay, but never enough to feel safe. And that, beautiful soul, is not love. That is control wrapped in mixed signals. He doesn't feed the fire to keep you warm. He feeds it just enough to keep you near. That's how he plays the game. He knows how to offer a breadcrumb when you're starving for connection. He knows exactly when to show up, right before you're ready to leave, but he never truly shows up for real. He wants you close, not because he plans to love you right, but because your confusion is his comfort zone. Think of a flickering light bulb. It shines just enough to keep the room from going completely dark, but never fully lights the space. And yet you keep flipping the switch, hoping this time it'll stay on. That's what this feels like, doesn't it? Hoping he'll finally choose you fully. But real love doesn't flicker. It glows steady. It brings peace, not panic. Safety, not guessing games. This is how he keeps you hooked, by making you feel like you're almost there. That maybe if you're more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, he'll finally show up as the man you need. But the truth is, if he wanted to make you feel secure, he already would have. Love doesn't need to be earned, and attention that only shows up when you're pulling away is not affection, it's manipulation. Now, this is where your story shifts. You are not just a woman waiting to be chosen. You are the woman he should have never left unsure. You are the woman who no longer accepts almost. You are not asking for too much. You're simply done accepting too little. And from this moment on, you don't beg for clarity. You become it. You stop chasing answers and start choosing peace. That, beautiful lady, is the beginning of your reign. Write this in the comments and claim it. I no longer settle for confusion. Let the world know you're done accepting the bare minimum in the name of love. And if this message spoke to your heart, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you the clarity, the truth, and the healing you need to rise like the queen you've always been. Number 2. He pulls you close when you're about to walk, not because he loves you, but because he loves control. Have you ever noticed how he suddenly becomes sweet, soft, and sorry right when you're ready to leave? He pulls you close, not out of love, but out of fear. Not fear of losing you, but fear of losing control over you. That's not love. That's strategy. That's not a breakthrough. It's a tactic. He senses your strength rising, your silence growing, your heart slipping through his grip. And that's when he shows up again, like a fisherman tugging the line just when the fish starts to swim free. He doesn't chase because he cherishes you. He chases because he senses he's losing his grip. And Queen, that grip was never about your heart. It was about his ego. This is the game. He gives just enough to reignite your hope. A compliment here, a memory there. A long text that feels like a confession but ends in confusion. He stirs up emotions to make you forget the damage. He rewrites the story just enough to make you feel like maybe this time is different. But it's not. This is not a second chance. It's a cycle. One built on emotional bait, not mutual love. Imagine a stormy sea and a boat with a broken anchor. He knows the only way to keep you from drifting into your power is to keep you tethered to his waves. When he sees you reaching for land, for clarity, for peace, for healing, he throws out just enough weight to hold you back. But don't mistake his last-minute affection for real connection. If he truly loved you, you wouldn't have to get to the edge of leaving for him to act right. And now, this is where you rise. This is where you realize you were never too emotional, too needy, too hard to love. You were just too real for a man who survived on keeping things confused. You don't need half love in the name of history. You don't need hot and cold affection to feel chosen. You are the warmth, the calm, the home, and he only pulls you close when he senses you're building your own. Let this be your turning point, beautiful lady. Let this moment be the last time he uses fear to keep you from flying. You were not made to live on a string. You were born to reign. Your heart is not a hook to be tugged. It's a crown to be honored. Write this in the comments and claim it. I won't stay for false comfort. Queens, let that be your truth. Let it be your line in the sand. We're working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons, because no woman deserves to be baited with love. You deserve the throne. Number 3. He uses your loyalty as a leash. Have you ever noticed how he praises your loyalty the most, right when he gives you the least? How he calls you ride or die only after he's made you cry? How he clings to your patience like a shield while constantly testing how far he can push before you break? This is not love, and it's not appreciation. It's a tactic. A man who truly values you does not use your love as a leash. He doesn't chain her with force. He ties her down with guilt. That's the truth he won't say out loud. He knows you're loyal. He knows you'll stay, even when you're hurting. And instead of protecting that loyalty, he uses it like a trap. Every time you threaten to leave, he reminds you of everything you've built together. Every time you pull back, he suddenly remembers how much he needs you. But deep down, he doesn't fear losing you. He fears you realizing you never needed him in the first place. Picture a bird with golden wings, beautiful, rare, but every time it tries to fly, someone tugs the string tied to its leg. That's what your love became, something that should have been free, powerful, and wild, turned into a tool for control. Not because you loved too much, but because he counted on you, never having the courage to love yourself more than you loved him. But this is the moment where things shift. This is where the woman who kept giving finally looks at her reflection and sees something he was too blind to honor. You are not weak for staying. You were strong for believing. But now you become unstoppable by releasing the leash and walking away from anything that made you question your worth. You don't need to beg to be kept. You don't need to shrink to be loved. You don't need to stay to prove your loyalty. Real love would never ask you to suffer just to stay seen. So rise, beautiful woman, not because you need revenge, but because your wings were never meant to stay tied. The time of being quiet, loyal, and forgotten is over. This is your time to take back the power he thought you'd never find. Write this in the comments and claim it. He used my loyalty. I used my wings. Let the world know you're no longer chained to confusion, no longer staying where love feels like survival. We're working day and night to bring you life-changing lessons that awaken your power and remind you you were never just loyal, you were royal. Number 4. He gaslights your intuition until you can't trust your own eyes. Have you ever felt your heart whispering that something is wrong, but every time you speak up, he makes you feel like you're the one imagining things, like you're too emotional, too sensitive, too crazy? That's not love. It's manipulation wearing the mask of concern. It's a tactic, and it's called gaslighting. He knows exactly what he's doing when he denies your reality, twists your words, and tells you it never happened the way you remember. He's not confused. He just wants you to be. He does not silence you by force. He silences you by making you doubt your own voice. That's how it works. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's the subtle shake of the head when you express your feelings. Sometimes it's the smirk when you ask why he changed. He wants you confused, second-guessing, shrinking in your own skin. Because the more uncertain you feel, the more power he has to shape your reality. It's not just emotional manipulation, it's psychological warfare dressed up as love. Imagine a mirror cracked just enough to distort your reflection. You keep staring into it, trying to recognize yourself, but everything feels off. That's what he's done to your intuition. He's cracked it, piece by piece, with doubt and denial. Now, instead of trusting your gut, you question it. Instead of walking away, you wait for clarity. But Queen, that confusion is not your fault. It's his tool. Now listen closely. You are not broken, you are not overreacting, and you are not crazy. You are a woman with a gift, your intuition, and the moment you start trusting it again, the game ends. Because the one thing he can never control is a woman who believes in her own truth. That's where your power lives. That's when you rise, not by fighting with him, but by listening to you. Beautiful soul, this is the turning point. The moment you stop doubting your voice and start rebuilding your crown. You are not just a woman in pain. You are a queen who has been lied to, but never defeated. Let this truth awaken your fire. Write this in the comments and claim it. My intuition is my power. Let it be your declaration. Queens, if this message spoke to your heart, if it helped you see what your spirit has known all along, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you lessons that don't just heal you, they awaken you, because your truth was never too much. It was always your superpower. Number 5. He makes you compete for a spot that was already yours. Have you ever been made to feel like love was something you had to earn, even after you'd already given your heart? Have you ever caught yourself wondering what she has that you don't? That's not love, Queen. That's a manipulation. When a man makes you compete for a place you already held, he's not choosing between two women. He's choosing control. He wants your loyalty, your effort, your attention, but only if you feel like it's always at risk. And that, right there, is one of the oldest tactics used to keep a powerful woman unsure of her own worth. He doesn't give you competition to find better. He gives you competition to make you forget you were already enough. That's the game. He flirts a little too loud in front of you, mentions her name just enough to sting, posts cryptic things online to make sure you see. Not because he's moved on, but because he wants you to stay insecure. He wants you to feel like your spot in his life can be taken, so you'll work twice as hard to stay in it. But, Queen, listen closely. If you have to compete to be kept, you're not being loved. You're being used. Imagine this. A queen sits on her throne, ruling with grace, loyalty, and strength. Then a man walks in and whispers in her ear, "But look how she dresses, look how she speaks, look how she makes me feel." That man is not testing her worth, he's testing her weakness. He wants to see if she'll step down, just to prove she deserves the very crown that already belongs to her. That's what happens in these relationships. He plays you against a fantasy, hoping you'll fight for the title he never intended to honor. But this is where the story changes. This is the moment you stop explaining, stop competing, stop shrinking just to feel chosen. You are already chosen by the only one who matters, you. The woman who stands in her truth does not need to prove anything to a man who forgot what she brought to the table. You are not an audition. You are not a placeholder. You are the whole damn show. Now, beautiful lady, it's time to stand tall, not as a woman trying to be picked, but as the queen who remembers her power. The love you were offering was real. The fight you gave came from your soul. But this is your moment to turn your back on the game and walk straight into your reign. Write this in the comments and claim it. I don't compete. I already reign. Let that truth echo through every part of your life, because we are working hard to give you the truth, the healing, and the lessons that set women like you free. Your crown was never meant to be borrowed. It was always yours. Number 6. He apologizes with words, but never with change. He says sorry, but nothing changes. He apologizes with his mouth, while his actions remain exactly the same. He makes promises that sound like healing, but they lead you straight back into heartbreak. And the most dangerous part? He does it so gently, so convincingly that you start to doubt your own pain. You begin to believe that maybe this time he means it. But deep down, you know, nothing will change because he doesn't plan to change. He uses apologies like bandages, not because he wants to heal you, but because he wants to keep you quiet. That's the trap. He hurts you, then comforts you, so you never leave. He knows exactly what to say when you've had enough. He knows how to cry, how to hold you, how to whisper the words, "I'll do better," just long enough to stop you from walking away. But if his love only lives in his words and never in his actions, then what you have isn't love. It's manipulation. Imagine a house that keeps collapsing every time you rebuild it. Each time he says, "This time will be different," and you pick up the pieces, but the foundation never changes. The structure never shifts. Eventually, you have to stop building what he keeps breaking, because you're not just a woman holding on to hope, you're a soul craving peace. And now you stop making excuses for him. Now you stop shrinking your pain just because he said the right thing at the right time. From this moment on, you decide that sorry without change is not love. It's control. And you were never born to be controlled. You were born to reign. Beautiful soul, hear this truth. You are not wrong for expecting consistency. You are not crazy for wanting your heart to feel safe. You are not too much. You were just too real for a man who couldn't rise to meet you. Now, rise. Rise into the version of yourself that no longer waits for apologies that go nowhere. Rise into the woman who no longer falls for broken promises. Rise into the queen who listens to patterns, not empty words. Affirm this truth in the comments, queens. Apologies without change no longer move me. Let the world know you are no longer available for recycled heartbreaks. We are working hard to bring you the kind of lessons that don't just comfort you, they change you, because your healing matters, and your reign, it begins now. Number 7. He makes you feel like losing him would be the end, when in reality, it would be the beginning of you. Have you ever felt like the moment he walks away, your whole world might fall apart? Like somehow he convinced you that losing him would mean losing everything, your joy, your peace, your future. That's not love, beautiful woman. That's manipulation. That's fear disguised as affection. And that fear didn't come from your heart. It was planted by him. Because a man who wants to keep control will convince you that you cannot breathe without his presence, even while he's the one taking the air from your lungs. He knows exactly what he's doing. He slowly made himself the center of your world so that if he ever left, the silence would feel like a collapse. He whispered lies into your heart like, "No one else will love you the way I do," while knowing the way he loves you leaves you empty. That's not devotion. It's emotional control. He painted himself as your only light while slowly pulling the curtains closed. But hear this, when a man uses fear of abandonment to keep you close, he's not protecting you. He's protecting his grip on your heart. You don't need to be saved. You just need to remember who you are. That's the truth he tried to hide from you. Because the moment you realize that losing him was never your end, it was your rebirth, he loses the power he never deserved. Imagine a wildflower growing in a glass box. It survives, yes, but it never fully blooms. And the day the box shatters, that's when the roots go deep, the petals stretch wide, and she becomes everything she was meant to be. That is you now. Let this be the turning point. This isn't the end of your story. It's the start of your empire. He didn't break you, he freed you. And when he finally looks back, expecting to see a woman still waiting, still hurting, still hoping. All he will find is a woman he can no longer recognize. Because you are not that girl anymore. You are fire. You are foundation. You are royalty reborn through heartbreak. Write this in the comments and claim it. Losing him was the beginning of me. Say it, feel it, live it. And if this message reminded you of your power, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create content that brings you clarity, healing, and unshakable truth. Because queens like you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign.